Over the past weekend, Ukrainian Security Service strike drones attacked the Kirovske military airfield in temporarily occupied Crimea. The enemy's Pantsir S-1 self-propelled anti-aircraft missile and gun system, as well as 3 helicopters, were destroyed. These included Mi-8, Mi-26, and Mi-28 multipurpose and attack helicopters. Secondary detonations occurred at the enemy airfield throughout the night. According to the Security Service of Ukraine, the fire damage was inflicted on the locations of the aviation component, air defense systems, ammunition storage facilities, as well as enemy reconnaissance and strike drones. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported successful hit of several enemy targets. On Monday, June 30th, the Defense Forces successfully struck the command post of the 8th Combined Arms Army of the Russian Armed Forces in the temporarily occupied territory of Donetsk region. This precise strike significantly complicates the enemy's ability to plan and conduct operations on Pokrovsk and Toretsk axes. On July 1st, units of the Security Service of Ukraine, along with other components of the Defense Forces, executed a strike against Kupol-Izhevsk electromechanical plant located in the Udmurt Republic of Russia. The Kupol plant specializes in the production of short-range anti-aircraft missile systems. Accurate hits on one of the plant's buildings were confirmed and fire was reported. Another important target was hit in the Saratov region of Russia. Units of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in cooperation with other components of the defense forces, struck the territory of the Saratovo-Xintez oil refinery. The capacities of this refinery are used by the occupiers to supply Russian military units involved in armed aggression against Ukraine. Hits on the territory of the facility were confirmed, with technological installations damaged and a fire breaking out. The defense forces continue to take measures to undermine the military economic capabilities of the Russian occupiers and force Russia to cease its armed aggression against Ukraine. Ukrainian Security Service drones successfully struck Russian army ammunition depots in the village of Velik Orekhov near Kursk in the temporarily occupied Donetsk region. According to the Security Service of Ukraine, explosions began at the depots from 10 p.m. on Wednesday, followed by a powerful secondary detonation of ammunition and a fire. The Security Service of Ukraine also noted that Kursk, near which the destroyed depot was located, is of strategic importance to the Russians as a rear base. The enemy has placed command posts, logistics hubs, and ammunition depots there. All of them are legitimate military targets, the Special Service added. According to the General Staff, on Friday, units of the Unmanned Systems Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, along with other components of the Defense Forces, struck a Russian enterprise producing warheads for Shahed-type strike UAVs. This refers to the Research Institute of Applied Chemistry in the city of Sergiev Posad in Moscow region of Russia. The strike on the target by our attack means was confirmed. A fire and heavy smoke were reported in the area of the facility. Another important target of the enemy's military-industrial complex was hit. Units of the Unmanned Systems Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, in cooperation with other components of the Defense Forces, inflicted damage on the Energia plant located in the city of Yelets, in Lipetsk region of Russia. Explosions were reported on the territory of the plant. Production was halted. The enterprise produces batteries and accumulators, including for unified gliding and correction module. This is a Russian development that converts conventional free-falling aerial bombs into gliding bombs with increased accuracy and range. Additionally, this enterprise produces batteries and accumulators for the Iskander-M operational tactical missile systems, the Koch-35U sea-based cruise missiles, and energy modules for specialized systems. Confirmation was received of the successful hit of the Russian command post of the 155th Separate Marine Brigade of Russia, as a result of the strike on the command post in the city of Korenyevo, Kursk region. The deputy commander of the Russian Navy, Major General Mikhail Gudkov, was killed. He was appointed to this position in March of this year. Before that, he was the commander of the Russian 155th Marine Brigade, which participated in the assault on Mariupol. This brigade is known for its involvement in war crimes, including murder and torture of Ukrainian prisoners of war. In June of this year, Russia launched more than 330 missiles at peaceful cities and communities in Ukraine, of which almost 80 were ballistic, as well as more than 5,000 combat drones. These data were published by the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. He drew attention to the fact that Russian strikes are primarily aimed at civilians, including women and children, as well as schools, hospitals, and residential areas. The minister noted that according to the UN, the number of civilian casualties in Ukraine has increased by 37% over the past 6 months. He called for increased investment in Ukrainian production of Interceptor drones and air defense systems. Ukraine is also ready to purchase or lease air defense systems. Interceptor drones have begun to fight enemy Shaheds. As reported by the President of Ukraine, dozens of interceptions have already been conducted in one night. The first units of Interceptor drone operators demonstrated high efficiency, noted the spokesman of the Air Force, Yuri Inat. The Latvian government approved the transfer of 42 Patria armored personnel carriers to Ukraine, as well as other military equipment. This was reported by the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Latvia. The Minister of Defense emphasized that Latvia continues to support Ukraine. Both this year and next, military support will be provided at the level of 0.25% of Latvia's gross domestic product. Patria is a 6-wheeled armored personnel carrier manufactured by a Finnish company. It is designed for troop transportation, but can be adapted for other tasks and equipped with various weapon systems, from machine guns to cannons. The intelligence services of the Netherlands and Germany warned that Russia is expanding the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine. This was reported by the Ministry of Defense of the Netherlands. Specifically, this refers to chloropicrin. This chemical can be lethal when used in high concentrations in enclosed spaces. The use of this substance is prohibited by the Chemical Weapons Convention. According to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, since the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia has used munitions containing dangerous chemicals more than 6,900 times. On Sunday, President Volodymyr Zelensky signed a decree enacting the decision of the National Security and Defense Council to withdraw Ukraine from the Ottawa Convention. This is an international treaty that prohibits the use, accumulation, and production of anti-personnel mines. In its statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine reminded that the Russian Federation, not being a state party to the Ottawa Convention, has widely used anti-personnel mines as a method of warfare against Ukraine since 2014. Since 2022, its mass use of such means has created an asymmetric advantage for the aggressor. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs emphasized that at the time of signing and ratifying the Ottawa Convention by Ukraine, no such circumstances were present and could not have been foreseen. Thus, Ukraine found itself in an unequal and unfair situation that limits its right to self-defense. The armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine has already forced Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, and Finland to make a joint decision to withdraw from the Ottawa Convention.